And we're live. Hey everyone, I'm Marco. I'm one of the code mentors here at the Firehose Project, and I run you guys through our info session today. So let's jump in and see what I want to cover today to help you guys better understand what we're doing here at the Firehose Project. So first of all, I want to go through our core curriculum, explain a little bit the technologies that we're using, what kind of web applications we're building, talk about how we use algorithms, what test-driven development is, why that's so important, and then also talk a little bit about how we customize our curriculum for entrepreneurs who want to build their own web application ideas out and launch them, and people who want to switch careers, like want to become part of a technical team at a tech company, to junior web developers, and how we customize the curriculum for these people. Then I also want to talk about the support system, about our mentors, about our forum, about our weekly office hours. Talk to you, what kind of support can you expect when you go through our program? And then last, I want to answer a question that I always get, which is, what can I actually do and build after I'm done going through the Firehose Project, after I graduated? And then obviously I answer questions, right? So I have about 10, 15 minutes at the end actually, where I can answer you guys' questions. So if you have any questions already right now, I've already received a few, email me or go to the Google Plus page and use the little question comment box and put your question right in there, and I grab it from there and answer it. All right, let's jump straight in. Let's talk a little bit about the core curriculum and what you guys do. So when you start at the Firehose Project, when you're accepted into the full program, the first thing we're doing is we're having you build a web application and push it live on the internet in the first 10 hours in the program. That may seem fast, but it's actually completely doable. That means that by putting you guys in the driver's seat to build something and push it live on the internet, you get to feel that experience of what it really is to be a web developer. What we're building is fairly simple. We store quotes in a database and we randomly display them on the screen. And that means not only are we dealing with databases, but we also wrap that in a mobile-first design. So that means when you guys are at a party, right, and you pull out your phone, it's like, hey, this is what I built last night. We're always shooting for the reply, oh wow, this looks awesome, you did this? That's great. And that's the goal we're always shooting for with all of our designs, all of our web applications that we're building. So these first 10 hours, you get this 360-degree view of how a web application works, right? You write some Ruby code, you look at the Rails framework, you also use your Postgres database, use Git, GitHub, you push things live to Heroku, use all these tools, right? Next up, we're gonna keep the learning curve steep, and we want you guys to build a Yelp clone. So I think the most important feature that we have in the Yelp clone is the Google Map API. That means we have to write the code to grab an address, that's it, that we go into store in the database, and while we store it in the database, we calculate the latitude and the longitude coordinates, pass that back to the Google Map API, so we get the little pin on the map. And that integration is what's part of the application, but it wouldn't be a fully functional web application if that's all it had. So the next thing we're going to do is add more functionality to it. So we have user comments, we add star ratings, right? It'd be also nice if I'm a pizza owner and I have my awesome pizza place on our Yelp clone. Be nice if somebody gives me a rating, if I could receive an automated email notification message that says, hey Marco, somebody just left a comment or a rating on your pizza place. You may want to check it out and use that link. So we built that as well. Another thing that we're building is a dashboard for our users to log in and then actually see like, oh, these are all my places, these are all my comments, these are the average star ratings, and write a bit of code to do some simple analytics on that as well. Obviously, we have user login, logout, registration. That's something that we need to build as well. That usually takes our students about, I'd say, 3 weeks to complete. Next up, we go into test-driven development. And we're building an application with TDD, test-driven development, in mind. What is TDD? Just quickly, it's basically we need to write software tests to automatically test if all the features in our application are working or they're broken. So TDD puts writing the tests first and then building the feature. That's industry's practice. The standard, if you don't know how to do test-driven development and write your tests, it's going to be really hard for you to build an application that is always functional up there. If you're an entrepreneur, you don't want to have broken pages that cost your users because they're not going to be happy. And if you want to land a job, you need to know how to do that, because you will never get a single line of code into the main application if you don't know how to write tests. So doing a test-driven development is really core, and it's really important no matter where you want to go with your web development skills. So that's why we're doing that starting in the first month already, and having you build that web application with test-driven development in mind, so you really learn how to do that. Next up, we usually build the Udemy clone, an online learning platform. And when I say online learning platform, what that already means is like there's a platform, there's different user roles, right? It's not like we can just sign up and every user is the same. We actually have content creators and students, right? Instructors, students, and then we have to track on a database level which student bought which course and who can see what. And then also, when I say bought, we obviously integrate with a payment API so we can accept credit cards and payments on our platform. And then we also need to track how these payments flow across our application on a database level. And that's really challenging, because that powers so many web applications out there. If you think about Facebook, right? Somebody uploads an image, somebody likes it. Who gets the notification that that this image was liked, and who gets the notification that there was another comment? That's all database relationships, and we're learning that while building an online learning platform and integrating with a payment API. The other things that we're building, what we're learning right there when we need it, is how to improve the user experience for our instructors on our platform. So that means what we do is we're teaching you JavaScript right when you need it. And what we're building is a drag and drop interface where our instructors can reorganize the blocks of their content, their lesson blocks, a lot easier than typing in numbers and naming it 1, 2, 3. We can drag and drop without refreshing the page. We do an AJAX request to our server, so that works. And you're learning that right when you need it. Here's how to improve the user experience by improving the user interface. That's what we're teaching you as well. So these are about the first 8 weeks of the web application part. There's also the algorithmic part. And by algorithms, I mean complex logic written in Ruby code. And that's really important, because if you want to build anything more advanced than, let's say, a Yelp clone or Udemy clone, which are for any professional really easy to build and replicate, if you want to go past that and you want to become professional and you want to be really good and build advanced web applications, we're going through and teaching you algorithms and that logic in Ruby code so you can build something more advanced. And I'm happy to give you guys a few examples what some of our students have used those algorithmic knowledge, those skills, to build something that is really exciting. I'll talk about that right after I'm going through with the support system and the core curriculum. Let's focus on where we are right now. We're done with the first 8 weeks. You've got all the web applications built, 4 web applications that are all awesome, looking good on mobile. You've gone through your algorithmic challenges, and now it depends where you want to go, right? 2 groups, entrepreneurs on one side, career seekers, job switchers on the other one. Let's talk about the job switchers first. What we're going to do with you guys is we put you on a group project to build an advanced web application. What we're building is a chess game. Now, a lot of people usually go, hey, Marco, come on, a chess game isn't that exciting. But it is exciting because it's really challenging to build. You just think about all these figures on the chessboard that need to be moved, and we keep track of them where they are at any given moment, which move is valid, and which piece got kicked out by which piece, and what does the first player versus the second player do. Tracking all that on a database level and writing that logic is really hard, and that's why it impresses technical hiring managers that want to hire a junior web developer. They're impressed by that level of complexity in your code, and we see that every single week, how our graduates take their complex code from their chess game and share that with technical hiring managers to show them directly, these are the 200 lines of code that I wrote for this one tiny little feature, and you see how complicated that is already, and that's why they get so far in the technical interview process and have no problem making it through the technical interview process, because they can demonstrate how good their code is, and not only can they demonstrate how good their code is, but they also build it as a team. And if you're looking at the real world, the best software is built by amazing teams. So we're giving you that group project experience for 4 weeks right after week 8. So you get that real world experience. You can be that high impact employee from day 1, and you can work together with a team, right? You're learning GitHub on advanced mode. version control. We're learning how to actually do refactoring of code, improving your code. We're learning how to critique code, and we're going through all of that, doing test-driven development, building an advanced web application. That takes about 4 weeks, and it really gives you a huge competitive edge any place out there. It's one of the most important skills that you can have as a web developer, how to work as a team. Now, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to learn your own, build your own web application, launch your own idea, right? We take the last 4 weeks and we focus on your application, and we start by wireframing that out. That means we draw every single screen of your application, and then we break those features into individual coding steps. Together with your mentor, we build and launch your application. So that means you get to apply all these skills from the first 8 weeks onto your own idea. The group project is something that is for the career seekers. Again, the entrepreneurs, they're building and launching their own web application idea. Now, that's pretty much the 12 weeks right there. Then what's the support system, right? Next big topic. As I said before, we have 3 different buckets here. We have the forum, the question and answer forum, we have the office hours, weekly office hours, and we have the one-on-one mentorship sessions. I always like to start explaining the forum, and people usually go, come on, Mark, it's a forum. I put in a question, I get an answer. But it's not so much about that. It's what the forum enables us to do. Now, let's say you are sitting in front of your machine and Thursday night you're coding, you're just working on the automated email notification feature. And you run into an error message. For some reason, your email doesn't get triggered, doesn't get sent out, right? You take your error message, you paste it in, or you post it into the forum, and within an hour or so, you have an answer to that. So we help you get unstuck when you need it. And what that means is when you arrive at your mentorship sessions, you do not have error message upon error message. We don't have to use the mentorship sessions to tell you, hey, on line 3, you're missing a comma. Hey, on line 15, you're missing an equal sign after the percentage sign. That we can take care in the forum right when you need it. So that enables us during mentorship sessions to dig deeper into complicated challenges. For example, if you work on an algorithmic problem and you're going through there, right? We can work in pair program and make your code better. And I can explain to you how you can do that in half the number of lines of code, which is what's really important for the real world. We can also work deeper on your test-driven development. We write more software tests. We can also, if you're an entrepreneur, build an additional feature on top of your existing application. For example, social integration if you want that, a Facebook logins, whatever you need. We can do that during the mentorship session rather than focusing on fixing your error message and telling you, hey, you need to spell check here, hey, you're missing a comma there. That's not interesting. What's interesting is getting you one level higher up in every single mentorship session, and that's what we're doing. So the other thing we have is our weekly office hours, and I'm a huge fan of the office hours. It's a time when all of our students come together. We're in a video chat. We can all see each other, and then we can ask questions. We explain how all the different pieces fit together of a web application. We explain how to solve error messages, how to troubleshoot. We oftentimes have guest mentors there in our office hours. And it's also for you, if you just start, it's really good seeing what students who are in week 8, what they're up to, seeing their code. You might not understand everything, but you can see like, oh wow, this is where this is going. On the other hand, if you're in week 8 and somebody has a question who just started out, right? Oftentimes you're like, oh wow, I've had exactly that same question when I started, and you can actually help that person out. And that's a really valuable teach back moment for you to learn in a completely different way, like that teach back, solidify your learning by teaching somebody else. Now, that is the support system, right? We have the office, we have the Q&A forum that enables you to get help when you need it, so you're never stuck for long. And that means you can come to your weekly mentorship sessions and actually focus on what matters, coding together and getting you to that next level of coding proficiency. Then we have the weekly office hours where we all come together and give you the big picture and the overview and troubleshoot and help you guys out. Now, the last question I always want to address is, what can I really do when I'm done with the Firehose project? And the simple answer is, if you have an idea that you want to build, that you want to launch, you can take the weekend, take a few days, code it up and launch it and get that first user feedback and start improving from there, moving forward. And that's really what you can do. You become a creator. Of course, if you're an entrepreneur, we launch your own application. Of course, if you're a career seeker, job switcher, we help you get that job, right? But at the core of it, you can create and you can launch and build web applications without a lot of trouble. And that's what our students are consistently doing. All right, guys, that's pretty much the core program, the support system, and everything. Now let me jump in and answer you guys' question. Again, if you have any, put them into the Google Plus group. Email them to me. I think Google Plus group is usually a bit faster, but email works as well. And I'm quickly going to jump in and see if we have anything so far. I think I've got a few questions already. So here we go. Yeah, there's a good one. What's the application process for the Firehose project? Application process is pretty straightforward. We want you guys to already know HTML, CSS, and writing your first Ruby script. So we put together a free pre-work course. You guys should apply for that. If you're not on the pre-work already, go to theFirehoseProject.com, go to the top nav, there you see the coding bootcamp pre-work, click on that, apply, take a moment to go through the application process. We really read every single application and we enable your accounts if we think that your code and your coding goal and your coding background matches. And then doing the pre-work, we actually teach you how to solve a coding challenge that filters out a lot of applications for web developer position before you even get a technical interview, right? We tell you already in the pre-work how to solve some of the most common coding challenges that are out there. We also help you build a splash page and put it up on a server. We give that to you for free. We use that to see how good you can write your code. And we actually look at your code, we give you suggestions on how to make your code better, and we'll help you out, and you get forum support as well. That's the first 2 weeks, and then you get accepted into the full program, and then we accelerate your coding skills from there moving forward. So that's the application process. Everyone who has not applied for the pre-work, definitely go to thefirehoseproject.com, top nav, click on that, find the pre-work. Great question. What else do we have? How are the materials presented? Oh, that's a good one. I like that question. So the materials are presented in multiple different ways. So we have written guides, and we have videos, and then there's obviously the live instruction. So the written materials, we do that for 2 reasons, right? So in the real world, you've never seen a video that explains to you how something is done, how you need to integrate with an API, right? A Google API or payment API, or how to use somebody else's open source code. What you always get is documentation written. So our guides are written for 2 reasons, because it teaches you how to use written documentation and prepares you for the real world where everything is written documentation. Our guides are really, really detailed, and they explain every single step, and they're good because hundreds of students gone through them and improve them. Every time somebody asks us a question, we look in and see, how can we improve that? How can we update that step so it's easier for students? And we update our curriculum every week, every other week, to make it better so it's as smooth as possible for all of our students. The other thing that does is it gives you that rich resource that you always can come back to. So that means, for example, if you're building an application out like 6 months out after the program, you can't remember how to do that 1 line of code, you can always come back because you have access to the platform. Look at your own resources, do a quick search, and go like, oh, this is how I integrate that code to make the payment API integration work. You copy that, put it in your application, you're good to go. And that's what it recreates. It's much better than looking through videos and jumping back and forth, right? So the written guide is really important because it's real-world application, and it gives you that rich resource that you can search really fast. Now, the other thing that we have is the video lessons, and we give those videos to you at the moment when you need them. So that means, for example, if you're at a point where you need to see the object-oriented programming videos, we give them to you before you start going into algorithmic challenges, or inheritance, or test-driven development. Or we have videos on the web application, the full overview of how the model view controllers fit together. These moving pieces of web application, we give you those videos at the moment when you need them. And then we also obviously have the live instruction, right? Office hours and your one-on-one mentorship sessions. So that's how the materials are presented. Written guides, lots of videos to watch when you need them, and then the one-on-one instructions and the weekly office hours. Great question. Okay, let's see what else we have. If anyone else has questions, use the Google Plus group, put your questions in there or email me, happy to answer them. Why is the group project so important? I kind of explained that already, and I'm happy to send you guys a little resource out that actually explains what the most important, the most critical skill is to get hired as a web developer, and that is working as a team and knowing how that process works. Because if you know that, you also know how to write good code, and you also know how to write test-driven development, how to write good software tests. So group project is so important because it's exactly what's happening in the real world. And if you want to have an impact on day one on any web application, web development team, you need to know how to work together as a team. As I said before, the best software is written by great teams. You want to be part of that great team. You want to know how to work together on a technical level, on a coding level with that team. So group project is crucial if you want to land a job. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, what are some of our graduates doing now? Yeah, that's great. Great question. I said I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So let's talk about, who do we have? One of our graduates out in LA, Angel. He came to us. His background was he was a used car salesman. He only had a high school diploma, no college graduation. He went through our program and then found a company called Sensei.it, and he's now one of their core web developers there, building that whole platform out. And he's super happy. He's no longer on a used car lot somewhere in LA. He's actually working on a web application team. He's one of their core developers, builds that. Other student, Ilya from Europe, from Germany, he was a product manager before, and now he works as a Rails software developer on Internoc, one of the huge tech companies that has headquarters in Boston, but he works out of the Munich office. They have offices all over the world. And he's one of their Rails engineers and builds energy efficiency dashboards to monitor how efficient the energy usage is done. And that's what his passion is. So he's super happy there. Another student, Erin, out in New York, she was a receptionist, and she now works as on the art, I always mess up, the Art Genome Project at Artsy, like a tech startup that raised $30 million or something like that, and they're mapping art out the same way Pandora mapped out music with a genome project, and they're mapping out the genome of art. So that's super exciting for her, and she's super happy about that. Again, doing code there, which is really great. Then we have the entrepreneurs, right? We have Steven, who's out in Sacramento, and he built an on-demand medical marijuana delivery app. So you can order your eighth or something, and you see the car drive on the map, similar to when you hail a Lyft or an Uber cab. And then you walk downstairs when the delivery arrives on your doorstep, grab the little bag, payment is already handled. And he launched, I think, a month ago, and he has over 100 paying users, right? That's what the entrepreneur's doing. Other people did like an integration. That's a great example for like what are the advanced web applications that people have been built. And so one of our students, it's not quite live yet. He just graduated. He needs to put the finishing touches on, but he's an avid Fitbit user, right? The activity tracking apps. And he says, well, every day I see like I've done 10,000, 11,000 steps, but it's not that exciting. So he wrote the logic to actually hook into his Fitbit, into the Fitbit API, pull out all the steps, put himself a challenge on a Google Maps, say walk from LA to New York. And every day he calculates how many steps he's done, what does that equal on the distance of the map, and marks that part complete as he walked that right today by walking around the office, by walking his dog in his hometown, and he sees the progress that he does for completing the big walk from coast to coast. And then he gets automatically sent 3 random pictures, Google Street View, of the area that he would walk through today, and he can get more of those pictures. So that logic, how to integrate with the Fitbit API, pull out the steps, put it on a map, translate how far you would have walked, and randomly showing you 3 images from Street View. That's really cool. That's advanced stuff, and it's really actually a nice little app that he's built. So that's what some of our students are up to. They either get jobs or they build really cool applications. And we have students from everywhere, right? Students that work at L'Oreal, that work at PayPal. We have a student in PreWork right now. He works at NASA. So then we have students who work at Apple, right? They're from all over, Indiegogo. We have that here. And they come to us because they know that we're focusing on what really matters. And that's also, they come to us because we have such good mentors, right? We have mentors who work at Flickr and Bitly. They have TechCrunch articles written just about them. With people, senior web developers from PayPal, with people from Product Hunt, like really amazing tech companies, and they mentor our students one-on-one. So getting those people as a mentor, that's a tremendous asset to your learning experience. All right, what else we have? Let me see, guys, you still have time? Send me questions. If you can think of anything, I'm happy to answer them. Okay, let's see if I got a few more. Oh yeah, here's the other thing. Like, how are you guys different? What's the difference between us and all the other, like maybe online coding boot camps, the other competitors here? I think that's pretty simple. We do real world coding, right? This isn't like in browser or like, oh, build a few fancy web applications. We go deep. We do the same thing that's done in the real world, right? We build something so you can ship it live. We built the real stuff. It's all about real code and real world application. And what I mean by that is that our curriculum goes deep, a lot deeper than anything else I see out there, right? You get the test-driven development, you get the algorithms, you build 4 web applications that are all really complex. Those alone impress people. And then during the group project, you're building something that's really advanced and challenging. That's why you're getting jobs, because we're building stuff that actually impresses senior web developers at leading tech companies, because it is not easy to pull off. That's the one difference, the depth of the curriculum. And the other one is the group project. If you want a job, you, again, need to know how to work as a team. And we give you that for 4 full weeks, and you actually get that huge competitive edge, and you can prove, because you have all your code live online, I'm a high impact employer from day one. Here's how I work with other people. You can just check it out. And so the group project, the depth of the curriculum, and then third, last is like the quality of the mentors is top notch. I just said that, right? People who grew Flickr from 1 million to 60 million users, that will be somebody that you have as your mentor. People who work at companies that are exploding right now. That's why we get people, students that are really, really passionate and actually work at cool companies already, and actually have some coding background already. So people with 14+ years of development experience actually come to us to update their skill set to make it to the next level. But we also have students who just coded for a few months, maybe on Treehouse or Code Academy. They go through our pre-work, and we get them up to speed, and we accelerate them through the core program. So that is what's the difference here. It's just the real coding, how it is done in the real world. Okay, what else do we have? Let's see if we got another question. I think that's pretty much it. Didn't get another question. In case I missed your email, I'll get back to you afterwards, so email me again. I'm happy if you can think of anything down the line and you're like, oh man, Marco didn't answer my question. Email me, or you think about another question, just reach out. I'm happy to help you guys. What you guys should all do now is go to theFirehoseProject.com, apply through PreWork. I can send that link out too, so you have that in your inbox too, and you can apply. Take some time to actually go through the application process and tell us what your coding goal is, what your coding background is. That way we can help you a lot more when we help you improve your code when you go through the pre-work. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That was a lot of fun. Thanks so much, guys, for coming, and stay awesome. And I'll see you guys in the pre-work. Take it easy.